Hey guys, welcome to Diablo 3. As you can see, this is my character. Ain't she a pretty lady? She got all white. And you know what white means. Anyway, I'm going to be showing off my build in this season of Diablo, which is season 5? Season 4? I think it's season 5. And I'm using the LoN build, which means I'm using the Litany of Undaunted and the Wailing Host. It's called LoN because it's got Legacy and Nightmares. And this is called LoN Bombardment build because it revolves around the use of Bombardment and Steed Charge. Now, I haven't fully completed this build 100% yet, but within the next week or so I should have it just about done. I've got all the items I need except for probably a pair of shoulders, but we'll get into that a little bit later. But we'll start now with generally how this build plays. So I'm gonna hop into a quick normal Nef run, so we can show off just what this build's all about just quickly. This isn't going to be anything special. It's not going to be world breakingly fast or anything like that. I'm just going to be showing off how the build essentially comes down to. Now, the build has 3 core functions. First is buffing, second is timing, and third is using your Steed Charge to the correct effect. Because the Steed Charge is probably the hardest thing about this build, because you gotta choose the right time to go in. This is probably terrible of Grift to go into, because it's got this stupid thing, which is great if you want experience and all this stuff, but it's not so great when you're just sort of doing this. As you can see, I pretty much kill everything in one hit, but that's because Augment 10 is pretty useless. But we'll now talk about the main things of this build, which is the Ring of Conversion, which you can see down here, and it swaps between elements every 4 seconds, and goes between fire, physical, ice, holy, and what did I miss? Fire, physical, lightning, that was it, lightning. And lightning and physical are the 2 important ones you want to look out for. You want to look out for lightning because that's when you prep all your skills for your damage push. Which essentially means whenever you see lightning, that's when you do all your buffs, and you want to do it about halfway through lightning, so it's about 2 seconds in, and you want to make sure you also cast Bombardment at 2 seconds into the lightning build. That way the barrels from the sky start falling down at the correct time, so you can get the most damage out of your bombardment. So when you're in physical, you do 200% increased damage, so it's always good to know that's on. So when you have physical on, you can do a lot more damage, because 200% is a large amount of damage. So it's very important, and we have the reason why some barrels come down without me even activating my bombardment skill is because of my Belt of the Trove, which is pretty damn important. Ooh, those blues last a little bit longer. I could have shown off the correct timing, but we'll get into that when we do some Grifts, which we will be doing fairly soon. Well, here's another good point of my build is the Ancient Legendary Nemesis braces. Now, it's important that it's Ancient. I'll get into that later. Wow, it's 2 really good pickups to find straight away. But when you do that with the Nemesis braces on, you can activate a shrine, it creates them to come out, which is important. But that's doubly important when you get into the Grifts, especially the later Grifts, because you need them to come out of that pylon so you can do the rift slightly faster, because you get the bonus from it, so it's always good to have. That's about it really for showing this off. When we get to the Rift Guardian at the end of this, I'll probably show off the timing, because that's the only thing that'll probably stay alive long enough. I'll be taking off my belt to show that off, just so it doesn't kill it straight away. I'll be going over the skills once I get out of the rift, so that's about it. Well, going over the skills in more detail, I can tell you what they are right now. We've got Iron Skin, we have Law of Justice, we have the Archerized Champion, Bombardment, Shield Glare, and Steed Charge, which is all very important, especially for playing the Crusader. And yeah. That's about it, really. I'll probably cut back in now. I'll still cut here until I'm at the end of this rift, because it's taking a little bit longer because I haven't been finding the best placement of people. Not a lot of density or anything like that. But oh well. Alright, we're at 98% here, so gonna hopefully remember to cut back in here. And here's the Rift Guardian spawn. Gonna take off my belt. That's just so, oops, didn't mean to do that. Just so everything's not falling down from the sky. So, as you can see, we're at halfway through here now, so we activate all the things and we start running through, and he dies. That's the timing. That's all I wanted to show off for the timing. I know you couldn't fully see the damage that was going off there, but it was a lot. But that's just how it is. I don't know what the maximum damage I've done. I'm not sure if there's a way to check that out, but it should be around the 20-30 bill mark on each barrel hitting. So that can be upwards to quite a lot actually. So I'm hoping that these two items we got are pretty good. If they are, they might replace ones I have. That won't, and that won't. They're not ancient legendary. They pretty much have to be ancient legendary for me to use it. And the reason why that is because of these LoN rings, which I'll now start talking about. While you have only this item set bonus, every ancient item you have equipped increases your damage dealt by 100% and reduces damage taken by 4%. Now that allows me to have this set item there, but only if I don't have the second set item with it. So if I wanted to, I could have random 1 sets from every single set and have them all equipped over my body. But that would of course be worse, because it would be better off to have stuff like these boots, these pants, and the crown of Lyric's crown. Just because they have better bonuses, and I'll talk about the bonuses later. So I'm allowed to have a green set here. And the reason why you want a green set here is because they generally roll fawns, and you can roll bombardment increase on them. As you can see, it increases by 15%, which is super great. Now I'll go back to these rings. These are very important rings because I've already told you about the set bonus you get from them. They have to be ancient. That is a vital point, because every single ancient you have equipped increases by 100%, including the rings themselves. So that's 200% right there from those 2 rings being ancient. So that's super important, and we need that. Next we go on to these gloves. These gloves, whenever you meet an elite pack for the first time, you gain a shield, which is equal to 141% of your maximum life. Which, if you have lots of life and toughness as I do, as you can see I've got almost 200 million, which is a lot. And that's a pretty big shield, because it'll be 200 million toughness again, plus a little extra, because it's not just 100% increase, it's 41%. Max is 150, so it's a little bit off its perfect roll, but this is good enough. The main important thing about this is, again, ancient legendary. That's very important. It has to be ancient legendary for the bonus. That's why all my stuff is ancient legendary. It's very important. A lot of other builds you can get away with like 1 or 2 not being ancient legendary and still be able to push fairly high, because you can usually not need the extra 100 strength or 100 vitality or 2% crit chance or 1% increase cooldown reduction. But this build where everything has to be ancient legendary to get the bonuses, it's very important. Next is Lyric's crown. This is super important, this one, because it increases the cooldown reduction gem in your helm by an extra 90%, so this 12.5% gets extra 9%, which is about 11% extra, so that's like 23% there, around that, which is very good. Next we're going on to the Hellfire Amulet, which is again ancient legendary. Gotta have that, very important. And it's got the long arm of the lore passive. Now this is a perfect opportunity to go and check out my passives. Now the passives I have going on is Iron Maiden, which increases Fawn's damage by 50%, because this build, like most Crusader builds, revolves around Fawn damage, so that 50% increase is vital. Next we have Finery, which every single gem in your gear, you gain 1.5% strength increase for each gem slotted, which is ridiculous. So because I have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 gems, and I assume it includes these here too, so it's 10 gems, that's 15% increased strength overall, which is ridiculous. Next we have Indestructible, which is your chance to survive fatal damage, which is great. And it's super great because it also gives you a small bit of invulnerability for when you get hit by it, so you have a chance to recover. It just essentially gives you a second life for every 60 seconds, which is great. Next we have Lord Commander, which this is purely just cooldown reduction. Bombardment reduces cooldowns by 50%. Now the passive we have in the Hellfire Amulet could be one of two passives. The first one is Long Arm the Law, which increases the duration of active effects of laws, which will be great. I'll be talking about them very soon. And Fever, which reduces cooldowns. It also increases attack speed, but we don't need attack speed increase because we're never actually hitting with that weapon. So that's not as important. Long Arm the Law is probably slightly better, but cooldown reduction is pretty good on Fervor, so you might want that as well. That's about it for passives. There are a lot of passives for other builds, but I'm not going to go into those builds, I'm just talking about my build. Next we'll go into the abilities we have. As you can see on my left click, I have Shield Glare, and on that Shield Glare I have blinded enemies take 20% more damage. That's important because you need that 20% bonus damage. You can replace that with Consecration Bed of Nails, which does fallen damage at 100% every second when they're standing in it, which is pretty good. Plus Consecration gives you a little bit of healing life per second, which is also very good, but not as important. So I don't like it. I prefer to get a damage bonus increase, so that's why I'm running that one. Steed Charge with spiked barrels on it, which does 500% damage every second you ride through enemies, which is again good because it does fallen damage, and or Crusader builds revolve around fallen damage, so that's a huge damage. Reason why fallen damage is so great, as you can see right here, it's physical. And that's very important because of the conversion of elements, and we want that physical skill damage up. Next we have Iron Skin, Reflective Skin. Reflective, I mean. That's important because it increases your fallens by 300% while active. Plus 50% reduction in incoming damage for 4 seconds is also great. And that's generally going to have a pretty low cooldown because by cooldown reduction it's around 40%, so it's going to be every 15-16 seconds, and considering it takes 12 seconds to cycle through all of the elements again, that means it's pretty much always going to be off cooldown for when you're on the physical part or just before the physical part on the lightning. You probably want to cast this one at the very end of the lightning so you get the full damage increase during the physical bit, but that's timing and that's something that takes a while to get used to. Next we have Law of Justice with Decaying Strength. Now Law of Justice gives you 100%, 140 increase all resist to all resist, which is great, but the important is the active. Granting you and your allies 490 increase all resist for 5 seconds. In addition, while the law is empowered, any enemy who attacks you will have that damage reduced for 15% for 5 seconds, stacking up to a maximum of 60% reduction. So you can reduce your damage taken by 60% when the law is active. And with the long arm of the law on, that's an extra 5 seconds onto it, and I think on average it's 5 seconds, so it comes down to about 10 seconds, which is pretty good. Considering the cooldown is 30 seconds, it's pretty much going to be off cooldown 15 seconds, if that. Lastly, we have Arachari's Champion. When you have this active, you gain 150% additional armor. Plus, of course, increasing damage by 35%, increasing Wraith regeneration, but that's not important. 35% increase is pretty damn good, but the main thing is additional armor. That's what you want. It's holy damage though, which I don't think it truly affects. There's a physical damage there, it just increases ref bonus, so that's not really helpful. Attack speed not helpful. Reduces the cooldown of your other abilities by 12 seconds. That could be good, but I think armor is better because it gives you more survivability, and that's what's important about these champion / avatar modes, as we call them. And the final skill, which is the most important skill, which is Bombardment. Call an assault from afar, raining 5 barrels. And they all deal damage, plus with the rune on, each barrel damage is increased by 200% of your fawns. And considering our fawns is really, really high, that's a huge damage increase. And of course it's physical, so it gets even more damage increase from the conversion of elements, which is great. Now, the reason why we use Bombardment a lot is because of these two items. Now I'm going to go to my cube to show you off one of the items. One of these items is Mortal Drama, which doubles the number of bombardments, so instead of having just 5 barrels come down, you have 10 barrels, which is doubling your damage pretty much. And the other important thing about it is the Belted Trove, which every 8 seconds calls down a bombardment on random enemy, and that also gets the effect of the Mortal Drama. Now usually the bombardment is, I think, about 3 to 2, not the whole 5, so that becomes 6 to 4, which is still pretty good. And the next item we'll be talking about is the 2 armor chest pieces we have on, which is Aquila Cuirass and Heart of Iron. These two are absolutely interchangeable. I think Heart of Iron is slightly better to have on your person than Aquila Cuirass, but realistically it comes down to whichever one has the better roll. Again, you want to have Thorns damage in there. The reason why Heart of Iron is better is because it comes with natural Thorn damage 100% of the time. Maybe not 100%, 90%. It's definitely got a higher chance of rolling the Thorns damage than the Aquila Cuirass. Plus you can roll bombardment damage on top of that, but that's not super important. The problem with Heart of Iron is it tends to roll like 2 or 1 sockets instead of 3 sockets, which is bad. Sometimes it even rolls 0 sockets, which just is terrible. It's not what you want armor. You want to have all 3 sockets for the bonus, especially with the finery bonus, which we talked about before. And yeah, Heart of Iron's passive is you gain Thorns equal to 300% your vitality. So my vitality is 7,000. That's 21,000 Thorns increase, which is great. And of course, Thorns is great because it's physical and it gives bonuses to all our skills, which is great. Aquila Cuirass is great because while above your primary resource of 94%, but since I don't use primary resource in this build at all, it's always going to be above that. We get 50% damage reduced, which is great. Now if I take this off, you'll see the dip in my toughness. It's at 177 mil. Take that off, it's now 60 mil. That's a huge reduction. I did not want to put that in the cube. Go back on my chest. Next we'll be talking about our Doombringer and our Nemesis Bracer. Now I'm talking about these because the reason why you want this weapon in particular and Nemesis Bracer is because that physical skills deal 20% more damage, and Doombringer always has physical skills to deal more damage. It's at 17%, so it's not perfect roll, but this Ancient Legendary Doombringer is pretty damn dope. It's probably not going to get better than this for a while. If I do, I'll be surprised, but right now this Doombringer is pretty much perfect. That 3% increase is pretty damn good to have, but I'm not going to be fussed about it. And lastly is my shield, which is the Final Witness. It doesn't have to be this shield, it can be any of 3 shields really. The Final Witness is just probably the one I prefer because its shield clears all enemies around you. You can also use you can use Lidless Wall, because Lidless Wall you can roll that lightning skill, deals 20% more damage, into physical skills, deal 20% more damage, which is 20% increase overall. But I don't think Lidless Wall can get the bombardment increase like this one can. But 20% increased physical is better than 15% increased bombardment damage, so Lidless Wall is technically better. But the reason why I'm using Final Witness is the best shield I currently have. I'd love to have an Ancient Legendary Lidless Wall that had the physical damage increased 20%, all the other stuff, but seeing as I don't have it, I'm not super concerned. Next we'll be talking about these Hexing Pants of Mr. Yan, which I'm very surprised I just picked up then. Gave me a good opportunity to talk about them, which is great. These are great pants because when you are moving, you take decreased damage. I'm sorry, I just completely muddled this all up. Your resource generation and damage is increased by 25% while moving and decreased by 21% while standing still. Mine's 23%, so it's a little bit worse when standing still, but because this build revolves around constantly moving, as you can see, damage just skyrockets up. If I take it off, my damage is at 441 thousand, my bad. And here it's at 385, but when I start moving, it's at 625,000. Getting a little bit hard to talk because it's just talking too much here. So that's about it. I'm going to head into a Grift so we can see how it goes. Now, I'm currently sort of pushing G-Rifts now. I'm at level 69. My goal for this season was to get to Greater Rift 70, so I'm pretty close. I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to do this one because of one very important thing, which is very much missing from my build, is these Caldesann's Despair ranks, which you get from imbuing your items with legendary gems to increase strength by X amount, and that's a 55 legendary gem imbued into this thing, giving it an extra 275 strength. And ideally, I want to have that on every single one of my items. So far, I've only got it on my belt, but that's just something I have to grind out later, and it's kind of what I'm grinding out now. Before I hop into this, I should talk about the legendary gems I do have on. I have the Historic Alteration, which allows me to have increased non-physical damage reduction such as cold, fire, lightning, poison, arcane, which is great. Plus the bonus, while below half, I get 75% increased reduction on them as well. So huge reduction to that sort of damage, which is what I'm going to be mainly being hit by because I'm constantly moving, so physical skills tend to hit me a lot less. And the next one is Bayonet Trapped, which increases damage to things that are being crowd controlled, and seeing as this gives off a aura which does crowd controlling, you pretty much always have that bonus, so it's 33% increased damage. And important one, Boyaraski's Chip, which gives you Thorn damage. And my primary skills Taunt, but that's not important because I'm not using any primary skills. So without further ado, let's do this G-Rift. We're doing 69, which is pretty good. Pretty good. As high as I've ever been, and we are definitely pushing. So as you can see, these guys will actually start taking damage. See, they can actually survive some of this stuff. And as you can see, I was doing 9 billions, and that wasn't even with all my buffs on. Oh, I accidentally hit the start button. Did not mean to stop there. Alright, this seems like a good stuff. Use my shield flare. Screwed that up. Oh well. I'm actually going to start killing these small things. I usually ignore most of these small things and just hope for like blues. There's actually some blues in here, which is great. Oh, that was close. I'm just going to wait for a good lot. So what I'm doing right now is like luring them backwards. Gonna activate that. 1, 2, 3, boom, go through. As you can see, that just decimated them quite a bit. This blue didn't quite get hit. I must have ran off the edge a little bit, which I do sometimes. So it's going to take a while for me to kill this one blue, which is annoying. So I don't want to take a while. It's annoying that it's also these Soul Reaper things. Because Soul Reapers just suck your life away and not a lot of reduction does anything to stop them. Which I find annoying. Alright, it's dead. So as you can see, we've got the timer down here. We just want to try and keep ahead of it. And that's the important thing. You've all probably done G-Rifts before. If you're playing this, you probably don't need me to explain so many of my abilities and how they all work, but I did it anyway because I have to assume lowest common denominator. Probably shouldn't have used my thing that early, but I was taking some damage, so was concerned. Alright, this is going to take a while. But as you can see, it's all about just doing my best to like keep my abilities going and going in at the right time. What's most important is for me to constantly keep an eye on my conversion of elements and try not to get hit by too much stuff. I had to waste my iron skin, which sucks. You should die from that. Sweet. I should also talk about my Enchantress. Enchantress is the best one to have for your guy because she has the ability to charm creatures, which is generally fairly good. I like her. She also has some cooldown reduction with her attached, which is super nice. I wish it was a lot easier for me to see how much damage, but it looked like a 40 build there. I think that I saw a 40 build. It's not easy to see the damage, especially while you're concentrating on where your character is moving, especially with this build. This isn't as active as your mage builds you see in solo and stuff like that, but still fairly important. Sweet, shield pylon. Grab that. And again, this is why you want your Nemesis Bracer. It just makes it a lot easier to speed up these rips. That's about it, really. So, I should also talk about my Legionary Boots, because you saw me walking through a wall there a little bit there, which is very important. Because that's one of the important things of Legionary Boots, is to have the ability to walk through people. This is so you don't stop moving, so you keep the Mr. Yans going. Plus, it allows you to avoid bad situations, so to speak. I'm not so worried about damage at the moment because I got the shield from that pylon, which is great. Your horse, however, cannot run through those walls, even though you have the shoes on, which sucks. I should have brought them all together. Damn, I could have got 2 packs at once. That would have been good. Oh well.
I need healing. Not yet.
That was a good bit of damage. Got perfect timing on all my stuff. These ice things are probably your biggest bane of doom, so you gotta like try and proc them away from the creatures. And just sort of like try and keep away from him. Just waiting for my timer on my conversion of elements, plus my cooldowns. And I think either of those is actual gold. That's the actual gold. Alright, that gold's dead. Not gonna worry about its minions. Oh, it looks like they died anyway, so that's good. Just gonna keep on moving. We're doing pretty well on time. We're about halfway through it, which is good. If we can get another shrine, we'll have this definitely solidified. Oh, there we go. Conduit 2, that is awesome. Sweet. I'd say channeling's probably the best shrine, just because it reduces cooldowns, which is great, especially for something like this. This should kill both of these mobs. There we go. Excellent. Conduit's super helpful though, because it's just that extra damage that's constantly ticking. Oh my god, this rift's over. We win. GG. All those pylons together just make this so easy. What's another good thing to do about pylons is stack up your abilities, so like when they spawn, you can pretty much just chuck all your abilities down straight away without even having to worry. Oh, there's a gold there too. Damn. Didn't even realize that. That's super good. Oh, that's right. Yeah, there was a blue next to that pylon, and I clicked on the pylon and got the gold out of it. Yay! There's a gold up here. Sweet. Not gonna get full damage out of that. We have to wait for the next physical one to shoot my bombardment down. A little bit gay, but luckily these guys are all physical. They don't seem to be doing anything true drastic, so that's great. I wish my barrels actually hit him though. I think I need to cast my barrels just a little bit later than I am. That'll probably increase my stuff. This is starting to get annoying. Just die, damn it. Die. There we go. That took a little longer than usual. It's because it was in a corner, which would be great if I was playing the Tornado Mage, because that's where you want them to be, all in a corner, so you just spam your tornadoes on that corner and they just get fucked over. But for me, it's better if they're all like in the middle, so it makes my bombardments a little bit easier to aim. Helps a bit low here. Oh, we should get a nice thing. Screwed up my shield there on that one, which made me lose 20% damage, but that's fine. Gotta be a little bit careful here. Yeah, you be blind. One more barrel from the sky will kill that thing, so it's gotta wait, which sucks. There we go. Ah, will that be enough? I don't think that'll be enough. Let's go next floor. Hopefully there'll be a nice group. There we go, this should do it. Once this group dies, this should summon the Rift boss. Oh jeez. There we go. Pity I wasted all my abilities just before because I was fading, and now I've already procced my indestructible, which sucks. So here comes the fun part about this build, which is essentially just slowly walking away. And you come in when you get all your physical abilities up, and you do a chunk of damage like that. This guy's a teleporter though, which sort of sucks, but because he's Bobby Knocker, he's pretty easy. I can just like walk into him. I was lucky the bombardment fell that time. I should talk about my bombardment armor not rolling perfectly, but it rolled good enough for me. The important thing is that it was Ancient Legendary. If it was perfect, it would have that passive ability be 6 seconds instead of 8, which would be great, but it didn't, so oh well. I just missed a physical damage opportunity there, but that's fine. I got plenty of time in this run, so I can just keep going around circles. I think I saw a 70 build there. Can't be sure though, because it's so hard to see the numbers because they come off as small numbers because they're not a full-on base thing like they would want to be, which is fine. I ain't complaining. As you can see, these bosses do take a while, purely because I don't have to bring a Stricken in. But I don't have to bring a Stricken in because, oh, that was close. Took some damage there pretty badly. But Indestructible saved me. Good job, Indestructible. Gotta be a bit more cautious against this guy, because he gets stronger as the thing goes on. I think one good run of bombardments should kill him. This should do it. There we go. 4 minutes and 7 seconds remaining, so I could probably do the next one up, but that'll be about it for now. I'll probably show off some high rift pushing later on in my career once I get all my items up to fully what I want them to be. Essentially what I'm leveling up is basically these gems because they're my highest. I could use some of these on my alteration, which is my lowest, but I also gain the most out of these two being upgraded over the alteration. Alteration's good because it increases my resistance, but not important. So let's put Trapped Up. I think Trapped Up is much more important than my Fallen's Up, which is still great, but Trapped gives me the biggest increase in the long run. I can get the Fallen's Up when I can, but for now, just do what I got and keep going. Hope you guys have enjoyed this video about the build of LoN Bombardment for the Crusader. This should very easily get me to 75 once I have everything up. Let's see what the current leaderboard is, just for fun. You can see he's also running the same build as me, so it'll be all good. View hero details. And you can see he's got the exact same things. He's got Bed of Nails in there instead. And he's got Fervor on for more cooldown reduction. He's got this shield on. I guess he likes... It must be just what shield he found first, probably. He's got Bombardment increase. Block amount by 49%. That's pretty cool. Did he roll better than me than that? Yeah, he rolled 1% better than me on that one. Plus he put cooldown reduction on, which I should have done. But I didn't. I was naive when I first found that weapon. He's got 7 seconds, I got 8 seconds, so about the same. Looks like he rolled an extra ability compared to me, which sucks, but oh well. And what is he at? He's at 86, and I'm just aiming for 75. So, would I be on the board if I got to 75? Oh, I might. I'd be around here. I might get in the top 1,000. That'd be great. I'll be proud of myself. Anyway, hope you guys enjoyed this video. Hope you learned something. Maybe you worked out a build you want to go for Diablo 3 this season. Anyway, see ya.